Hello and welcome to the channel. Today a video about Lucia Auth version 3, and we will take a look into the most basic flow possible. It is username or email and password authentication, but we'll go a bit deeper and we'll also implement the verification codes. So we have our verified email flag in the database. So the stack will be Hono.js for the framework, and everything will be eventually deployed on Cloudflare workers with D1 database as the storage. So there are some specifics about Hono in this case and some limitations from Cloudflare workers, but really the basics are the same. If you're interested into using this authentication library in any other stack like Astro, Next.js, whatever you prefer to use, it's totally possible, and it's really flexible. You can integrate it in any application you like. So let's get started. I'll try to go rather quickly, but I won't skip any steps, any critical steps, so you can follow along. And also I'm planning to publish this result of this video as a GitHub repo, and probably later I'll even improve it and add things like social logins like Google, GitHub, etc. So everyone have a nice example how to deploy things to Cloudflare workers with Hono and with authentication in place. So hopefully it will be really useful. To get started, we need to generate a new template. So this is the command you want to use. It is npm create, and we're using Hono template. And this is the name of our project. So now we want to pick Cloudflare workers and install dependencies, yes, and npm as our package manager. If you just run npm run dev, and it will open, we can open this link. We now see that it's already running, and npm run deploy will actually deploy it into Cloudflare. So in Lucia Auth, really nice docs. And we will start from the first step, and we need to install dependencies. So let's stop our project and install those things. And also in the next section for the database, we're going to SQLite, and if you scroll, there's like a D1 option here, but the driver is the same, so the same package. So we need this adapter. So the thing I want to do here is I want to rename it to be TSX, because I want a bit of HTML, return a bit of HTML from that. So I want to use JSX. And here in Hono, I just usually use this snippet and create like a simple layout component. And I want this import as well. Right, cool. And now I want to change in package.json the entry points for the dev and deploy. All right, so now we have our JSX working, and in the root handler, I want to do something like return HTML, and then we're going to use our layout component right here. And inside, I really just want to keep the layout simple, so we want an href for signing in, and the other one for login. So let's say sign up and login, and I just want a simple break line here. So this will lead to /sign up, and this will be to /login. Let's start our application. npm run dev. Can reload this, and now we have two links. That's fine, and this is not required anymore. Cool. So the next thing is to create our login or sign up page, first of all. App get, and we want sign up. So here we'll have our handler, and what we want to return is something like this, but here we want a form. And really we just want two input fields, input name, email, and same one for the password, like this, and a submit button. Here we go. So sign up. Now we have, forgot to name it, sign up. Yeah. There's no goal to create a nice design. We just want something where we can type our login information. All right, so here what we want to do is we want method post. And after that, we can just implement, start implementing our post method for sign up. So interesting thing here is we probably want to add some validation straight away. So if we search for Hono validation, we will be able to use a Zod middleware, which is the easiest way to use validation in Hono, I think. So we want to install Zod first of all. And we want to install Zod validator, these two packages, and we want this import, and we want Zod as well. Here we go, this thing. Right, so here in the post handler, usually it will be something like this, where you define your handler. So we will return usually it's like redirect back to home page or something like that after successful sign up. But the thing is that you can put an extra argument on this slot, a second slot, and it will be our validator. And to do that, we can just grab this bit from here and put it right here. So we're saying that we create a validator for the form, and in the form we want body, not body, we want email string, and we actually can use the email validator from Zod, and we want password, that's string. And you can set some min and max here. Just for simplicity, I'll put 1. What next? And after this form will validate our input, we can access these validated objects from request. So we can do const and do a destructuring. So it will be email and password. And here it will be C request and valid. And here we should say form. Let's see if that works. I just want to probably just console log email, let's say. And if we go to our application, we need to start that again. Run dev. So if we just sign up, we have a error response from Zod that we not providing email, or it's not correct string. You can implement a better error handling, obviously. It's now just returning unsuccessful HTTP code, but you can configure the Zod validator so it returns like a valid HTML, for example, so you can run the form with correct errors. But let's try if we put something valid, like test, and here we have password. So it was redirected and we see that it was printed. So our logic is working so far. That's good. While we're here, let's do the same for the login page. So we'll have a get and then login. But really it's the same, so it could be even be a component. So this should be login, right? Still same fields here. Cool. I think it's time to set up what we need for Lucia. And first of all, we need database for that. And we're going to use D1. And the command to create database is we are using this Wrangler tool, which is a CLI from Cloudflare to manage their resources. And it also helps to test it locally. So if we create a database and it's in the Wrangler TOML file, it will be created locally, like an instance of that, of SQLite database, and we can use that in our development flow. So let's create it, and we want a name, so it will be Cloudflare Hono Lucia Auth. Let's run this. Yeah, so it gives you a snippet like this. So you just want to copy that and paste it right into your TOML file. We have database ID, binding name, and database name right here. It's good. So moving next, we want to set up Lucia client. And we can start in the database section, SQLite. Let's scroll right here. And we want this thing. So we want function initialize Lucia. We'll have D1 as input. Then I usually want plural names for tables. And here we have our Lucia client. We also need to define user and sessions tables. And to do that we want to generate new migrations. So let's create one. It will be Wrangler D1 migrations create. And then we want our name, Cloudflare Hono Lucia Auth. And the last argument is the name of the migration. Let's say yes. And as you can see here, we have a new folder and we have an empty file here to create our first migration. I prepared tables already right here. So we want users and sessions. So let's put it here. In users, we have ID, email, and hashed password. We need to apply the migration. To do that, we calling apply. And actually, let's just do this. So instead of migrations, we want apply those. It's good. And straight away, I suggest we apply that remotely as well. So this -- remote will apply same migration on a real database in Cloudflare. So let's do that as well. Cool. That should be all working now. And we can continue with our setup for Lucia. So next important part is this this guide here for validate session cookies, and we're interested in Hono, so going straight here. And the idea is that we need two middlewares. One is to check against this attack, CSRF, by checking the origin and origin headers. It's not too important for us right here, but it's just like a good practice to do to prevent the attack. And then we have a useful middleware that will try to get our cookie by the session cookie name, and then it will try to validate the session. And if that exists, we'll enrich our context with user and session. Obviously, you can do that in your individual handlers, but frequently, like, you need access to the user, so it makes sense to create that as a middleware, so that's like working on all requests. Cool. So first of all, let's grab this thing, and what we want to do is replace this. So we have our types, and now our Hono is typed with additional variables. So that will be user as session, and this comes from Lucia library. So first middleware, just this. I can just copy it and paste right here. Request verification. So we want to get that as well. So these two imports, that's what we want. Let's remove these comments. And yeah, we just put it here, forget about that. The next one is this one. So here we want const Lucia, and we want initialize Lucia, and then we have cnv, and we forgot to add additional bindings here. So let's say we have type bindings, and it will have our d1 db d1 database, and here we want bindings, so it's bindings, and now this is typed. So yeah, we create our Lucia client, then we're trying to get session ID from the cookie. If it's not there, we just set nils. Then we validate the session. If the session is valid, we're going here and we set user and session into their context, so it's available in other places. And after that, what we can do is, for example, on our home page right here, we can do something like const user and get user. And as you can see, this is typed as user or null. And here we just want to check if user, then we will do something. And if not, we want to return the page that we already created. And if there is a user, instead of this, we want to create a form, and it will be our logout form. So the method is post and action is logout. And here we just want a button, right? Button. Logout. Don't need this. And here I suggest we just have a div like this, and inside I just really want to print everything that we have in our user. So like just print our user here. Let's say current user, like this. npm run dev. Yeah, that still works, but as we don't have the user cookie, like session cookie, nothing is done yet, so this is not working. So it's time to finally implement the sign up. And as I said, there are nice docs in Lucia. So let's go here, email and password, basics. And yeah, so here for the adapter, let's grab this additional properties. So we want this really later. And we want to put it right here as an extra args, as you see, this block, that's what we want. So it goes here, and we can remove this thing. We'll fix the types a bit later. For secure, let's say false for now. Usually you want to do this, like if that's production, you want a secure session cookie. If it's localhost, you don't care, but for us, we don't care for now. This mapping to get user attributes is an interesting thing. So by default, when you get user from the validate session in Lucia, you'll just get user ID and that's it. If you want to pass anything else, like for example your email or some flags, you want to add an explicit mapping right here in the get user attributes key. And while we're here, let's fix the types so it's not that annoying. To do that, you want to go to this users section, and if we scroll a bit, we will see that we have this line, and let's put it right here in the module. And we just want to create this interface as well. And we want email string right here. So you see now we have correct type. And if you want to add additional attributes, you just put them here, and you can use them here as well. Cool. So that's it. Let's go back to our email password guide. Email check. Yeah. So this is where we want to create our user. So we want this block. We do some changes here. So first of all, we have to use a script because it says we're going to use it in Cloudflare, and I think those two are not working. They require Node. But script says that it's working in any environment, so that works for us, but it's a bit slower, so keep that in mind. Cool. So we want this thing, and we want just a script. Script, new password. This should be async. We also want to initialize our Lucia client, which is initialize Lucia. We pass env db. We have our client. Generate ID. There's another import like this. And so we create ID, we create hashed password based on the password that we provided in the form. And after that, we just want to insert our new user. So it will be again, let's do const inserted user, and then it will be await on c.env.db. Now we want to prepare new prepared statement, insert into users. We want ID, email, hashed password, and values, and just placeholders for that. That's API of D1 SQLite in Cloudflare. And after that, you want to bind those values to user ID. Then we want an email and hash password. And we want to, let's do returning, just to return what we inserted, and then we want first. And that will be our inserted user. Let's print that in the logs. New user. So we don't need this anymore. And for setting the cookie, so yeah, if there is an error, for now, let's just console log that. We don't actually, yeah, probably console log error. And error will be here. And we want to return body, let's say something went wrong, and 400. Should work for now. Here we want a redirect. So we want to redirect into the root, and we want to set the cookie. Let's remove this. Yeah, so let's see what we've done. We got email and password from the form. We initialized the Lucia client. We created a hashed password based on the password that user provided. Then we generated the user ID. Then we inserted the user into our table. We are logging that, so we should see that in logs. Then we creating the session with the API from Lucia library. Then we're creating the session cookie. We're using that session cookie to set we're using the serialize and set cookie to set the header, and then we're redirecting to the home page. We don't need this. And interesting. Yeah, so this is not dependency. So I think I was wrong, and I need to use a different import. This one, script from Lucia itself. So where's our input for Lucia? Yeah, we need to do this and remove this thing. Let's see if that works. Yeah, better. Cool. So now sign up. Let's do test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sign up. And something went wrong. Let's see what we got wrong. Something in the database insert query. Could be a typo or something. Let's see. Values, right? So we resend our request, and now we have a current user like this. And if we go to the network, not the network, but the storage, right, for the cookies, we see our auth session right here, which is our new session. So let's delete all. Let's refresh, and we now are logged out. So to fix that, if we want to log in back with a valid combination of password and email, we want to implement a sign-in handler, right? So yeah, let's grab this. Actually, it will be pretty like almost the same as this, right? So we can start from here. So it will be now login right here. We still want the same validator. We can reuse that, but whatever. So we doing the same thing, and then we want to find the user by the email, right? First of all. So let's do that. Const user, and it will be env db prepare select from users where email equal, and we want to bind email, and we want to do first. Let's grab type definitions from here, and we go to our index.ts and just put them somewhere. Doesn't really matter. Like this. We don't need this so far. And after that, we can, in our query, when we do first, right here, we just provide the generic and we say user row, and now this thing is typed with this user row type. So we got the user, and then we check if there is no user, we return invalid email or password. So let's say if no user, return body invalid email or password, and we want 400. Then we need to validate our password. So for that, we are going to use a verify function from our hashing library. So for us, it's a script. So verify hashed, where's this? It's promise. So yeah, we need to await hashed password, and we compare it to the password with this verify function. So this valid password will return a promise boolean, right? So it's actually boolean, and now if not valid password, we want to really just return the same thing. And I highly recommend to read through this section. It basically says that with this logic, there is kind of flow, because if people trying to understand if email or username exists in your system, they can just use or measure the response times. And if, for example, we immediately return it here, compared to when we find the user in our table and we do the verify with the hashing, this takes longer. So there is an option to define if that's a valid user email or not. And if someone knows that it's a valid email, they can start brute forcing the password. So there are options to mitigate that. Sometimes you can just hash or verify even with invalid password, or if you want just protect from brute force, there's like throttling in the logins, etc. So different mechanisms. But yeah, that's really interesting. So, and yeah, at the end, same idea. We just want to create a new session and create a cookie and put that into our cookies and redirect to homepage. So I think that's the slides, yeah. And we can just go here, save them, and now we just can remove the entire block. And hopefully that should work. So let's see. Yeah, we don't need hashed password anymore. User ID, don't need that. User, yeah, and we want to get user and ID from the user that we found from our database. Cool. Let's reload and try to log in. I don't remember, was it like test com and 123 123? Yeah, and this works. If we do logout, it's not implemented yet. So probably a good idea to implement the logout function, right? So it will be app.post /logout. And here we have context. What we want to do in our logout handler is, again, so we want to sync here. But after that, we initializing the client, right? We're getting the session from our context. And if there is a session, we want to call this invalidate session on top of that. And then we create a new session cookie, which is literally just a blank session cookie. And yeah, same thing. We want to set the cookie and redirect to the homepage. So yep, let's see if that works. Resend. Yeah, now we're back. So we go login, test, and 123, 123, login. Yeah, we are inside, logout, we are back to homepage. All right, so this is basics, right? And I promised we will do verifications as well. So again, go back to docs. We want to go to mail and here email verification codes. So we need an extra table here. Let's create a new migration. So it will be npx wrangler create migration, and let's say email verification. This will create a new file here, an empty migration. Let me copy existing migration. So what we're doing here is creating a new table. As I said, email verification codes. We have just ID for the row, email user ID, which is unique. We only allow one code per user. Then we have the code itself, and also expires at to invalidate the code over time. And also we want to add email verified flag into the users table. Cool. Let's run apply. Yes. And remote as well. Cool. npm run dev to start this again. So get user attributes. We want now to pass this email verified. Yeah, attributes here. And this email verified will be Boolean. mail verified number. I think it will be number because in SQLite basically Boolean is just 0 or 1. But we can do Boolean here and just convert it into a Boolean. Yeah, so that's it. And this is the table that we created. And now we want to generate verification codes. And let's create a function for that. Let's do this. And actually, let's just go here. So boom, the function, we want to return, we want to insert our verification code into the database. So what we want to do first is we want to we want to pass this into our function first. So it will be db and type will be d1 database. Then we have user ID and email. So it will be await on db prepare delete from email verification codes where user ID equals user ID. We want to bind user ID here, and we want to run that like this. This is good. Then we're generating the code. With this generate a random string comes from Oslo Crypto. And after that, we want to insert our code into the table. So here we want to await db prepare insert into verification codes. What we want to insert is user ID, email, code, and expires at values. So we have 4. Yep, that's it. So we want to bind these values to user ID, email, code, and then expires at, which is this. This will give us date. We need to do toString, so SQLite is happy. And we now can kill these lines. So yeah. Await has no effect, but it should be run like this. And we're returning code back. So this function will just remove all old verification codes when we request a new one. Then we generate a new code, and then we inserting that code into database, and we're returning the code itself. And now when we do sign up, we want to create verification code, and we want to send verification code basically. So let's grab this and go to our sign up post handler. So after we inserted the user, we now want to do this. So verification code, we want to pass our database, db. So send verification code, we'll do that in a sec. But now we can just do log console log verification code. And here we want to set our email verified to false. So an extra value here. And we want false right here. Cool. And we'll print our verification code here. So let's refresh. Let's do a new sign up. So let's do test2, testcom, sign up. Email verified false, right? And we also have this code printed, which is a verification code. But in case it's not verified, I don't want to show the user information. I just want to show a new box, like a small form, where user should type the code and verify the email. So to do that, let's go to our root page, and here, I think somewhere, yeah, so we can do something like, so user email verified. If it's email verified, we want this div. In opposite case, we want something else, and we want a form. So it will be form. And here, just a simple form with one input. So input, and name of that will be code, and just a button saying verify. Let's reload. Yeah, here we go. Cool. The next thing, and probably one of the last things to do, is to implement a post handler for the verification. So so we want these email verifications, right? And let's do it here. So we want app post email verifications. We want our async handler. We'll do something here. We also want a similar validator like this. So it will go here, and here we just want code. And it should be min1, let's say, for now. We don't want password. We want to get a session. We want to get user, right? So it will be const user, c get user. We want to get our code, const structure code from c request valid and form. Then we're calling this verify code function, and if it's not, we returning error. Let's do this, and let's grab this function, which is verification code. So let's get this. Let's put it here for now. And yeah, so here we have some limitation from Cloudflare, because transactions, you cannot just begin transaction and commit in random places. You can use the batch operation to run multiple queries, but that's not what we want right here. But I think we can do something like, so yeah, first of all, let's fix this. So we want our database available, so it will be D1 database, like this. Then we have user and the code. So what I'm saying is we want to do a wait and then db prepare. So we want to delete the code straight away. Delete from email verification codes where user ID equals and code equals. and we binding those values, bind user.id and code, and we want first like this. We want to returning from delete, and that will be our const database code, like this. I think, yeah, this. So we don't need these two lines anymore. And then we check if the code is there and the code is not equals, we return false. But actually we don't need this because we already checked that inside our SQL query, right? And here we just want to, yeah, we already deleted that, so we don't need this as well. So is in expired range, so we need import. And here we want to pass our database. Before that, we want to check that if not user, we just want to return body null and 400. Any error code will work. So here we go. What we have here, this is a known type, so we can do the same with our types, and I can grab this thing from here, email verification code, and I can put it somewhere like this. Email verified. Yeah, so this will work. So I want this right here. So now this is correctly typed, and we just want to create a new date from the string. Annoyingly, limitations of the SQLite. But after that, we're just checking that email from the database code is the same as in user. Well, actually, I think we can do that in the same query right here. So we can do email and we don't need this check. Yeah, I think that should work. So we passed this thing. So we implemented verify verification code. If it's not valid, we're returning the error. So we need to do return c.body, and we want to return null and 400, let's say. Yeah, and after that we invalidating sessions. So we want this, and we want to actually do const Lucia initialize Lucia c.env.db. And here what we want is we're updating our database user record with verified email true. So that's what we want at the end. We want to do c.env.db, prepare statement, update users where set email verified to true, where where ID equals, and yeah, I can actually do this as well to bind those two values. So bind true and user.id, and we want to run that. So we updated the flag for the user, and I think now the standard thing that we want is set the cookie, create the session, set the cookie, and redirect. Right, that should work, I think. Let's try. And yeah, I'm not sure if I find the old code, but let's do it once again. So let's say test3, test.com, 123, sign up. Here's our code. Let's paste it here and click verify. Nope, I think we need to update our form somewhere. So let's see, we have our email verifications, right? We just need to find our root page. And yeah, so here we have method post and action email verifications. Let's reload. Let's grab our code again. Verify. And yeah, here we go. True right here. So the final bit is I prepared a small function that will send emails for us. So let's do this, and let's put it somewhere here. And the thing that we need is this dkey private key defined and some other configuration, but so it will be string. But I have a separate video if you want to set this up. But the thing is that you don't need to pay for emails, sending emails. In Cloudflare, you can just use mail channels and integrate with them. Just send your emails as you need. The only limitation is you have to. This will only work from the real Cloudflare worker, so you cannot send email from local with that. That's why I have this check here. So if I have this property set up in the worker, it will send email. If not, it will just log that it's sending email. But now we can grab this, and if we go to our sign up where we insert the user, so here we want to send like a welcome email. So it will be what do we want? Envs c.env. Then we want recipient, which will be email. Then the subject welcome, and then let's say your verification code is, and let's put verification code inside. So now let's run npm run deploy. Oops. Npm run deploy. This will deploy our application into Cloudflare. All right, so I deployed the application and enabled email sending. So let's try sign up. My email and put on me and simple password. Let's see how it goes. Sign up. So sometimes in Cloudflare on a free plan, you will get this resources limit exceeded. I think that's because there's like a time limited in milliseconds for requests to complete, and the hashing is not always into that time limit. So the fix for that is really just switch to a paid plan for the Cloudflare workers. But sometimes that works, and I was actually able to log in and sign up. So let's try that again. Yeah, so we have now verification, and we have a new email here, right? And your verification code is this. So let's copy this thing and paste it right here. Click verify, and we are inside. But yeah, this resources limitation is a bit annoying. So really, to implement that, you need a paid plan, I think. But if you don't want email and password, if you just implement the social logins, it just works fine without any problems. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope that was useful. And as I said, the link should be already in the description, and I'm going to update this repo in the future to add more features and maybe like polish a bit the code. So it will be a useful example that you can use when you need to implement authentication with Hono and Lucia Auth. Thanks a lot. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And also there's an option to support my channel on Buy Me a Coffee if you want to. Have a nice day. See you next video. Bye-bye.